Today is going to be such an amazing day. And here's why, because I am so beyond excited and honored to welcome the amazingly talented Jessica to the Inspiration Show. I am so beyond inspired by you, and I'm just so grateful to get to look up to you and watch you shine. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I'm very, very honored to be here.
So, when did you discover that you had a passion for singing and for theater?
I think it probably singing in theater was probably when I was like 6. I My dad and mum put me in dance lessons when I was like 4, and I think at that age I was like, I'm going to be a ballerina. And then and then I saw a production of Annie done by an amateur dramatics group locally, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. And so then my dad looked up the Amdram group that we saw, enrolled me in the Amdram group, and I don't think I wanted to do anything else from then on. I think that was it.
Oh, that is amazing. And I love how it always comes back to Annie. It's always Annie.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's just seeing other children up on stage and just being like, yeah, that looks amazing. That looks so much fun. I can do that because you can see children doing that.
Yeah.
And then you learn, oh, this is an actual career that I can pursue. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing too, of like seeing people that are your age or like similar in age to you up on stage doing the same thing. Cause I think it makes it feel that much more real of like, I can do that too.
Yeah.
They're doing it, I can do it too. And
Yeah, it
that's
makes
how
it
it
feel
started.
accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say really inspired you to become a performer and who's been an inspiration of yours throughout your career?
Um, I think unknowingly, my grandma was a big inspiration. She was super, super supportive. Obviously, my parents were. I'm really lucky to have such supportive parents who were happy to send me off to dance classes and singing lessons and my multitude of Amdram groups that I was a part of back in Wolverhampton. But whenever I went over to my grandma's house, she would have her little piano set up and we would do singing lessons together, or she would just help me with singing or teach me piano. And it was actually when I started doing musical theatre that she revealed that she used to do musical theatre as a job. Um, she was a music teacher from like when my dad was born. So that's all my dad knew of my grandma. He only really knew that she was a music teacher. And then when I started showing an interest in musical theatre, she was like, "Oh yeah, I used to perform." Like she told me a story of how she was a chorus girl and Judy Garland asked her to hold a glass of wine before Judy Garland went on stage. And so she was telling me these stories, and my dad was there, like, I didn't know this. Like, I didn't know that this was something that was part of your life. And it only came about when I started showing interest. And I think knowing that my grandma used to do it and the stories that she used to tell really like inspired me. And then also just, I think it seems weird because it feels like such a small part of the UK, and I'm sure that there's a massive musical theatre community everywhere in the UK, but I know that in the West Midlands at least, there was just such a massive community. And I was part of, I think I ended up being part of, at one point, like 3 Amdram groups at a time, like at one point. And I did the school show, and just all of my teachers were so supportive of me wanting to do it that I think that really helped me to not be deterred going forwards.
Yeah. That's so beautiful that your grandma got to pass that torch on to you and that you had that support
Yeah.
system because like support is such the root of this industry and it's so
Oh,
special that you got to have that from your family and from your teachers and kind of getting to share that love and bond over that with your grandma.
yeah, for sure. I think sometimes I take it for granted how lucky I was when I was younger to have that support because I know that some people just don't, financially or just familiarly. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Familiarly.
Yeah.
Um,
So, can
but
you
yeah.
take us back to the first time you experienced theater and how you were feeling at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the first time was maybe Annie. But I know the first West End show that I ever saw was Lion King. Um, Iconic. I mean, it's known, I mean, at least all of my friends from back home know how much I'm obsessed with The Lion King. It was my favorite Disney movie from when I was a very, very little girl. And I was just obsessed with The Lion King, and I had so many Lion King toys. Like, I
As you
had so many
should.
Simba toys. And so my dad was like, "We're gonna go and see Lion King in London." And I think he took me to see Lion King like 3 times in the West End
Oh,
because I
that is
was just obsessed with
iconic.
it.
It's so good.
Um, and then I think the thing that really like bit me in terms of the bug for musical theatre and the thing that I was like, oh my God, I love to sing this was I was in year 6, I think, or maybe a bit younger than that, so maybe like 10, 9 or something. And I was in the school choir in primary school and we were singing like a medley or something of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, this music is
That's
amazing.
it.
I love singing this. And I think I think I saw the film not long after. And then after seeing the film, saw the musical in the West End. But it was actually my singing teacher, the choir teacher, who I think saw my love for it when I was singing and was like, Jess, have you ever thought about getting singing lessons? And I was like, I hadn't thought of it. And she was like, I mean, she was like, you show a lot of potential and you obviously love it. And she knew someone who taught singing lessons and passed on her details to me and my dad. And that's where I started singing lessons. And honestly, I think I can like owe quite a bit of my career, or at least like my training to that singing teacher because she kind of refused to let me. I wanted to do musical theatre exams because musical theatre was my first love. And she was like, yeah, you can do a musical theatre exam, but you have to do your classical exam first.
Yeah.
Classical singing first, Jess, and then you can do your musical theatre exam. And I hated it at the time. I was like, I don't want to do classical. I don't want to do sight reading or clapping in time. I was like, "Oh, I don't want
I'm
to
with
do it.
you
I
on
don't want to
that.
do it." But I
Yeah.
am so grateful that she made me do it because it is the basis of
Yeah.
who I am as a singer.
It gives you that foundation, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, I always say, my friends say it's my catchphrase, but like getting bit by the theater bug is like the greatest gift you'll ever get. And I think, like you
Yeah.
said too, like when it comes to musical theater and like, especially when you realize your love for it when you're younger and like being that young child and realizing that you can sing, dance, and act all at the same time, it's just mind blowing when you're young. And even when you're older
Yeah.
too, and like when you get to pursue it and kind of receive all these tools from all the different jobs that you do, like it's so special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And also I think community when you're
Oh, it's
younger as well, for sure. It's like a massive family.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
theater people are the best people, and that community we get from it,
Agreed.
it's the best. They're family. Oh,
Yeah, 100% agree.
do you remember the first role you played?
The first role, like back when I was little, doing Amdram and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I think the first one that I can remember being a big deal was I think when I was like 12, I was in a theatre company called Reach Musical Theatre, and they were doing a production of Beauty and the Beast, and I got
Classic.
cast as Belle.
Such a good
And
role.
that's the one that's like that's stuck in my memory as like this is special because Lion King was my favorite Disney movie, but Disney princess movie, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney
Same,
princess movie.
same.
So,
Nothing like
like
Beauty
the
and the
fact,
Beast.
yeah, the fact that I was able to play that, I remember being so excited and grateful.
That's amazing. And I mean,
Mm.
fast forward on the Disney, because like in 2023, you toured the UK and Ireland with Shrek the Musical.
Yeah,
So,
gone from Disney to DreamWorks, but
oh,
yeah, very fairy
oh,
tale-esque. Yeah,
it's
that was a lot of fun.
incredible. Yeah. So, what was that like for you, bringing such a beloved story to the stage and like sharing it with audiences across the world?
I think it felt like, I mean, it was so much fun. Like so much fun. It's such a fun musical. Like we are just fairy tale creatures, most of us, for the most of the musical. We are just fairy tale creatures with prosthetics on our face and padding and fur and all of that stuff. So you can't be too serious when you're wearing all of that, and you can just have a lot of fun, and you know that it's a family musical, so families are coming and bringing their children, and you want them to have a good time, so the kind of magic ingredient is to have a good time yourself because it will translate. But I think it was a lot of pressure for, like, at least it felt like a lot of pressure to do it justice because we also knew that there is a huge fandom for Shrek the movie, and so they will also be coming to see and want us to honor the movie and the source material. So I think it was a nice balance of having fun and putting our own spin on it because the version of Shrek that we did wasn't a replica production of Shrek. It was a brand new imagined version of Shrek. So the costumes were a little bit different and the staging was different. And I think we cut a few things, like we shortened some songs from the original, like from the Broadway version of the show. So like we put our own spin on it, and it was really fun in the rehearsal room to be able to do that, like to have a character and be able to explore what that would be like and how we would do it. And I was one of the three bears, so it was really nice to like have fun as a family and figure out who the three bears were together. But as well as doing that, also obviously honor the film and the original so that the fans of the show would be happy as well.
Yeah, and what was that like for you as an actor, like in the rehearsal room, kind of being given that creative freedom to like make it your own and put your own stamp on it, while also kind of staying true to the film? What was that like for you, like your creative process wise?
It was really fun. Like we were, at least when we were doing Three Bears, we were able to have freedom of what accent we wanted to do because all of the fairy tale creatures were from all over the place. And obviously Shrek is Scottish, so it's like we can have freedom to keep them American if we wanted to, or do another thing. I think we decided to keep it American because we decided for our production. I was also Mama Ogre at the beginning, so I was Shrek's mum, and so we decided for our production to have the parents be Scottish as well, since Shrek was Scottish. I mean, that wasn't my decision, but I thought it was a good decision. I
Yeah.
was ready to go out there doing an American accent like the original Broadway production. The director was like, "Can you do it in a Scottish accent?" I was like, "Oh, absolutely. It just might not happen today. I'm gonna have to go and work on that."
All
So,
dialect, have dialect on speed dial.
yeah, I actually messaged my friend from Glasgow,
Oh, I love
like one of my best friends, and was like, "Hey, I've got to do this in a Scottish accent. Please, can you just say it in
say
your
my
accent,
life.
and I'm just gonna copy it." Because there was
Oh,
no way I would be able to do it otherwise.
same. No, I feel that. I mean, accents, they're so fun, but if you don't do them right, it's a problem. So that's why it's
Yeah.
like it's risky territory.
I mean, like it's Shrek, so people are expecting a Scottish accent,
Yeah.
especially for Shrek. And Anthony Lawrence, who was our Shrek, was incredible at
Yeah.
the Scottish accent, like so Shrek-like. But then we're also going on a UK tour where we were going
Yeah.
to Aberdeen and we were going to Edinburgh and we were going to Glasgow. So we were going to three Scottish cities, and I start the show in a Scottish accent. So
Right.
I was like, I have to get this really good, otherwise we're starting the show off bad.
Yeah.
The Scottish audiences are going to be like, who is
Oh,
this?
what is that?
So
Oh,
yeah,
oh, that's amazing.
that.
So, what
But
was
yeah,
that
it's fun.
like for you? I mean, like performing your own role while also serving as the first cover for other roles. And how did that experience kind of shape you as an actor being a swing?
Yeah, I mean, this was it? It was my second job covering. My first job I did Zorro and I was full swing for that. I was
Yes.
ensemble swing, every single ensemble member, which there was 10 ensemble members for that. And I swung all 10 of them. And then I also had my own track on stage and covered the lead. So I had less work to do on
Yeah.
Shrek than I did on
Yeah.
Zorro, which was it was nice, but it was also a very different experience on Shrek to a normal covering system.
Yep.
We It wasn't, I don't think it was for every single part, but because of the way that Shrek is laid out, when I was on for Dragon or Gingy, either one of them, I was still Mama Ogre and I was still Mama Bear because none of the characters really overlapped. So I was able to stay in my track, but just add on Dragon because I puppeteered the dragon when I wasn't covering it. So I was already in that number and I was on stage puppeteering the dragon. So what would happen if I went on for the dragon was I would instead of getting changed into the puppeteering costume, I'd get changed into the dragon costume and one of the offstage swings would take over my puppeteering track
Mhm.
and they would take over. So the person who played the dragon also played the witch, the Wicked Witch.
Mhm.
So Cherry was the dragon, but in the fairy tale scenes played the Wicked Witch. So when I was on for dragon, I'd keep to Mama Bear and Mama Ogre, and the offstage swing would take over the Wicked Witch track, and then my dragon puppeteering track. So it
Oh,
was a little bit different to how you normally went with covering. Normally you
yeah.
just take over that full track.
Yeah.
And I think that was a decision that the director made. It was a discussion that we had, and he thought that that was the best option because then it's like I just need to add to my track rather than learn a whole
Yeah.
new track. But it was very interesting. I think it was really funny when I was then Gingy because the person who played Gingy, Georgie Buckland, who is a megastar now, she just finished playing Andy in Devil Wears Prada. Um, but Georgie Buckland was the elf in the like story of my life scene, and then in the freak flag scene was Gingy, held Gingy in her hands. So she was the elf, but she had Gingy, the Gingy puppet. So then when I was on for Gingy, I was a mama bear holding the gingerbread man, which looked a little bit funny. I know a lot of people found that
Love
quite
it.
funny, and it was so hard because I had so much padding and fur that it was like really awkward to hold. And like some of the choreo then had to change because I would have to be in the elf position rather than the bear position. So it was like a little bit of a switch around on stage. But it was nice. It was fun. It was fun to do something different and also, um, yeah, do a little voice change because Mama Bear and Gingy are so different vocally. So like, trying to do that in kind of one show was a challenge, but it was lovely. I really
Oh, I
enjoyed it.
mean, you did it all. Oh, that's crazy. And I mean, of course, we have to talk about your time in Zorro because that was just iconic. And I mean, like you said, you covered pretty much like every role. So I'm so curious, what was that process like for you? I mean, like learning all of those tracks and then coming into rehearsal, having to rehearse all those tracks on top of having your own
Yeah.
track. And then what lessons did you learn from Zorro that you brought with you to Shrek and Dear Evan Hansen? Because you were a super swing in all of those tracks. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Super Swing Queen, hats off to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take a break after this.
Yeah.
I'm super swinging, but yeah, I think I've learned the most I've ever learned on any job on Sorrow.
Yeah.
It was my first big contract out of drama school. I'd done like a few little jobs um after leaving drama school, but this was like my first like longer-ish contract, and it felt like it was in London, so it just felt so big and oh, sorry. And yeah, I was super, super nervous for it because I had never swung before or covered. And you do the thing that all actors do when they ask you, do you think you can do it? And you just go, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can. And inside you're like, I don't know.
No.
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say yes.
We've all been there.
Um, and I think what was for me the most special, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. When I accepted this job, I knew that I was ensemble and I knew that I had to cover Louisa.
Mhm.
And what I thought I was doing was I thought I was fight swinging because part of the audition process for Zorro was a fight call. We
Mhm.
had to do sword fighting and see whether we were good at that. And I actually had a phone call with the fight director being like, hey, this track that you're up for would be swinging. The fight calls like we need someone who can be there to swing in if someone's off because if one person's out, like if one person's off, the fights just don't work.
Happened, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can do it. Absolutely, I can do it. And then when I got the job, I genuinely thought that that was all I was swinging. I thought I was only swinging the fight scenes. I didn't think I was actually swinging the whole show. I didn't realize I was swinging all the ensemble bits as well. So then I turned up to first day, nervous about it, but like excited. Um, and the director was like, "Got a lot of work. Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, really, yeah, I'm great. I'm ready." And it was kind of like in the first day that I realized I was actually swinging 10 ensemble tracks. Ensemble and and my own track. And I was like, oh, this is so much more work than I thought it was gonna be. And I think I've never been so focused. And I definitely think that during rehearsals, I wasn't my full self because I was just laser focused. Like
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
were scenes that they didn't want to put me in my like normal track because they wanted to make sure that when I needed to cover, it would be easy to slot me into another person's track. So there was like bits where I wasn't allowed to touch any props in my normal track, so
Mm.
that when I covered someone, there wasn't like an extra piece of prop that
Yeah.
needed to get moved. So I would be like sat on the side and just have my notebook, like writing every single thing that I could down. But I definitely took the um stance of I didn't want to learn all of it once.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
definitely.
I, because that would have just fried my brain. So I like focused on learning my own track and Luisa's track. I think those were the two that I prioritized in my mind that I wanted to like nail down so that when I was doing my track, I didn't have to think about it and I could actually
Yeah.
watch other people's tracks and what was happening and moving around me. Um, but what was really special about that job was I had my whole cast there to rely on and have support. I was really, really close with Paige, who played Louisa, so she was able to really help me with everything. And the dance captain that we had, Matt Bug, was an absolute gem, and he got everyone to write their tracks down. He was like, everyone, write your own tracks. And then he collated them and sent them to me so that I didn't have to make my own track sheets for every single ensemble track. I could
Track
just
sheets
get
are lifesavers. Oh,
lifesavers.
lifesavers.
Honestly, the first time I had to go on previews.
Yeah.
So, because it was just after COVID that we did Zorro, and during our last run in the rehearsal room, I showed up and our director was like, Jess, you're gonna have to go on for Stylianus's track because he's come down with COVID. And I was like, oh, and this was like rehearsal.
Yeah.
This was like our last run through before we got to the theatre to do tech. And I was like, oh, I have not looked at Stylianus's track because I didn't expect that to happen on the last run through. I was focusing on my
Right.
track so that when we got to the theatre, I was ready to go with my track. So then I was like looking through the script, like, obviously he allowed me to hold the script
Yeah.
when we were
I
doing the
mean,
run through.
yeah.
But that was like crazy to have to do that. And then as we got to tech, bless poor Matthew Bug had obviously caught COVID off Stylianos. So then Matthew Bug was out the whole tech. And so then I jumped into his track for tech and I teched his whole track and then opened the show in his track. I think I did the first two previews in Matt's track. And then, so when he came back, I hadn't actually teched my own track, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing in my own track because I've only teched someone else's. Um, so that was
God.
crazy, but it was a lot of fun. I actually really, really enjoyed getting thrown on. Like the next time I got thrown on it was at, we ended up, it was at the half an hour call,
Oh my God.
and I think I was like going out to get some coffee for someone because I was like already ready and I didn't start the show on stage like everyone else.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, I can just like someone was like running late and they were like, is there any chance that you can just pop out and get me a coffee? And I was like, yeah, 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 no worries. So I was like on my way up the stairs from the dressing rooms and see one of my castmates just on the floor at the bottom of the stairs and people surrounding him. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And just turned back around, went back into my dressing room and got my script open and started looking at Ben's track. Um, and it
No.
was, yeah, th actually, what happened was we ended up having to cancel the matinee because that was half an hour call before the matinee. And we ended up, I was like, I'm prepared to go on straight away. I'm maybe like just a delayed start just so that I can,
Yeah.
because he was in quite a lot of the fights. Before that, I hadn't really done any of the like sword fighting stuff
Yeah.
in Matt or Stylianis's track, but Ben was quite prominent in a lot of the sword fighting, and had scenes as the priest character, so it was kind of like a little bit more
Yeah.
stuff to have to like know. So I was like, just give me like a bit of time to definitely run through the fights because it's not for safe to just throw me into the
Yeah.
fights without rehearsing them. Um,
Thank you, fight
but
call. Oh,
yeah, fight call, fight call, fight call. But then we ended up making the decision to cancel the matinee because we also Zorro was an Act Muso production
mhm.
and Ben was our cajon player. And a lot of the dances and a lot of the songs relied heavily on a drum beat.
Yeah.
It's all rhythmical. It's the Gypsy King, so it's all very rhythmical. So we were like, "Oh, we don't know. We've never tried to do this without a drum."
Yeah.
So we were like, I think we actually need more rehearsal time to see whether we can do the dances without a drum or see whether we can find a dep to
Mhm.
come last, like really last minute and come and dap for us. So yeah, we what that's what we did. We like canceled the matinee and rehearsed throughout the day and then put it on in the evening. And we actually did find a dep to come
Oh,
in
good.
who'd done Zorro before
Oh, wow.
somehow.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I went on for Ben's track and yeah, it was so much fun. I remember when I went back into my ensemble track, I was like, oh, a bit bored now. I haven't got the adrenaline of being absolutely
Yeah.
like panicked
Yeah.
going
Oh my
on.
God.
Um,
Oh my God.
but yeah, I went on, it was a 9 week run and I covered, well, I had 12 tracks, including my own, and I went on for eight of them, I think, or nine.
Wow. Oh my God.
So it was like almost like a track a week,
Oh my God. I
which
cannot
was
even begin to imagine what that experience was like for you.
it
Oh
was
my God.
mental. And I did get to go on once for Louisa, which was so much fun.
Oh
Honestly,
wow.
I think Zorro is one of the jobs that I've done that I would do again in a heartbeat.
Wow.
The music was beautiful and I loved sword fighting. I think that
Oh
was the
yeah.
thing that I enjoyed the most
Oh
in the
yeah.
whole thing. If I could sword fight in another job, I would absolutely, for
I
sure.
mean, I know you know, but like I go to school for theater and we
Hmm.
had a stage combat professor come and work with us. That is the like some of the most fun I have ever had in theater school. Like combat is so much fun
Yeah.
and I wish it was done more often. Like I know why it's not done more often for obvious
Yeah.
reasons, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
much fun and yeah, I actually really enjoyed being the swing in that respect because I
yeah.
got to learn every single part of the
Right.
track,
Oh my God.
which was really
Oh my
fun
God.
and really rewarding when
Yeah.
I managed to be swung on in different
Yeah.
fights and be able to do them.
Oh,
And definitely the coolest thing was when I was Louisa and she has two
yeah.
swords. She gets a
Oh,
hold of two swords and she starts
great.
fighting with two swords and it's really cool.
Talk about the challenges of being a swing and how swings are the backbone of theater. Like
Oh,
that's
hell
what I
yeah.
preach. That's what I preach. But also swinging fights and like different sides of the fights. Like it reminds me of like the friends of mine that are in The Outsiders and they cover multiple roles and they have to learn the different like spots of the rumble and the like different sides. Like that's what it reminds me of. Like it's insane when you swing just in general, but swinging
Yeah.
fights and like the physical aspects of a show is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it
Oh,
really is. When you
wow.
think about it, and like when I do recount Zorro, I'm like, wow, that was a wild, wild time. Like I learned to fight, I learned to flamenco dance. I had
Oh
to
my
learn
God.
how to like properly flamenco dance and play the castanets for one of my ensemble tracks. Um,
Oh my God.
so it was just like it was a full learning experience, that whole show. And I think
Oh,
it really put me instead to do this career in this industry because
wow.
I was like, if I can do that job and
Yeah.
and everything that went with it, I think I can do anything.
You can do anything. Yes. Yes. And I'm so excited to chat about your next job because that's how you came into my life. So you were in the ensemble and also understudied the roles of Cynthia, Heidi, and Alana in Dear Evan Hansen.
Mhm.
So, can you share
Yes.
a little bit about your journey with Dear Evan Hansen from your audition process to closing night of the national tour in London?
Yeah, I mean, I think so the very beginning of my journey with Dear Evan Hansen started a couple years before I actually got the job on the tour. I auditioned for the West End production, just like I think it was my first audition out of drama school. Um, I had a self-tape through, and I was like, when I tell you, I was prepared to go into this industry as a full legit girl. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm a legit girly. I'm never gonna be in like the contemporary musicals. Like, I didn't really know Dear Evan Hansen. I know that's like blasphemous to say, but I didn't really know it because I thought that I just would never be in a musical like that because it's so like it's quite a pop musical or pop folky rock. It's a very contemporary style musical, and I was a full legit girly all the way through drama school. So I just did not think I would ever be in that show, so I didn't really know it that well. And that was one of my first auditions that I got through from my agent. They were like, "Yeah, they want to see you for Dear Evan Hansen for Alana," and I was like, "What? Sorry?" I, I was so confused. And I ended up getting down to the final two for that and not getting it. And then they asked me in again if I would be open to come in for the ensemble covering Alana and Zoe. So I came in, did all of the process for that, and then and ended up not getting it again. But they were like, "We really, really like her. We would love to see her next year for the same roles." And I was like, "Great. I mean, I'm literally a grad out of drama school. I wasn't expecting to get this far at
Yep.
all anyway." And then it ended up that it closed the next year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I never actually went back in for it. And I think in my body, because I got so far and it was one of my first auditions out of drama school, and I think I was like so in it. I was like it had kind of bit me, and I was like, oh, I need to do Dear Evan Hansen. I need to do it. So then when it was announced that it was going on tour, I was like, this is it. This is my chance. I'm gonna be in this musical.
Yeah.
Um, and so the audition process was I was on tour with Shrek at the time. So I was auditioning whilst still touring the UK. I think my first audition for it was I was in Hull, I think.
Oh my
So I was in
God.
Hull and I like documented it. I don't know why I thought to document it. I think I was like vlogging some of the Shrek weeks, like just like documenting it for my own memories. And I decided to
Yes.
document me going to my Dear Evan Hansen audition. So I had to like get up at like 4 a.m. to get like a 5 a.m. train down to London and do, I think it was all material. So I did all Heidi and I think I was in for Zoe as well. I didn't think I was in for Cynthia. I think I only did Alana, Heidi, and Zoe material. So I did all of that material and I was like, oh my God, that went so well. You know, when you just get a vibe and a feeling from an audition, I was like, I think that was really good. I think I did really well. Then obviously got trained back and did a show in the evening. And then I got a recall and I was in Nottingham at the time, which felt really kind of like fate because it was a Nottingham Playhouse production who was producing it along with ATG. It was like a co-production. So I was like, oh my God, I'm in Nottingham on the day of my recall for Dear Evan Hansen and went in. I still had to go into London for the audition, and it was a material round again, basically did the same material that I did the first time round, but it was the full length version of So Big, So Small rather than the cut
Yeah.
and also a movement call, which I
Iconic.
was so confused.
I was just
And
gonna
I
say,
think
no.
everyone else was so confused. They were like, sorry, a dance call? It's Dear Evan Hansen. There is no dance. What's going on? And I was like, well, there's an ensemble in this version, so I guess we're dancing. And it was, of course, the amazing Carrie Ann who was choreographing it, who
Yes.
choreographed Six and has recently just choreographed Miss Saigon, the UK tour. So we were in very good hands. And we did, I think it was Waving Through a Window that we did the audition dance to. And I remember coming back to Shrek and everyone was like, you need to show us the dance. You need to show us the dance. And we need to know what this dance is going to be like in Dear Evan Hansen. And
Oh,
so I was like showing it to all my classmates. And then I think it was in Derry that I got the call from my agent to say that I was being offered first cover Cynthia, which also shocked me because I hadn't done any material for
yep.
Cynthia.
Yep.
And I got first cover. So it's
Yep.
like I'm so confused. But Absolutely, that's great. Yeah, so first cover Cynthia, second cover Heidi, second cover Alana.
Oh,
And yeah, that was the beginning of touring for Dear Evan Hansen. And
yeah.
again, I've been really lucky in my career to do, I don't think I've done one replica production in my
Hmm.
career. Everything that I've done has been a new version of the show. Shrek was a new
Yeah.
version, Zorro was a new version because it was Actor Muso.
Mm.
And then Dear Evan Hansen was obviously a new version because they were
Yeah.
adding an ensemble into it.
Yeah.
And they wanted it to be super, super acting
Yeah.
driven because I think a thing that stuck in my mind from the first day when we were doing the read through is he was like, the script and the book of this musical is so strong that you don't
Yeah.
actually need the songs. It's a play with songs rather than a musical.
Yes, definitely.
But the songs are there to shift the plot on and
Yeah.
allow the characters to have emotions that they wouldn't be able to express otherwise.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what musical theatre is, but the script and the acting is the like forefront.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I really loved that. I think that's something that I missed in Shrek. I loved
Mhm.
Shrek. It was so much fun. But I think after Shrek, I needed something that was a little bit more grounded
Yeah.
and have a little bit more acting. Because I think Dragon didn't have any acting. It was just the big song.
Mm.
Gingy had a little bit, and I loved that. But I wanted something that I could like really like sink my teeth into. And oh my God, I was nervous.
Oh
I
yeah.
was so nervous,
Oh yeah.
especially to do Cynthia because I was like, I'm 25. I was 24 when I got it. I was 24 and I was first covering a 40-year-old,
Yeah.
40 plus year old,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
who is going through an emotional journey, a very like she's grieving for pretty much all of the show
Mm.
apart from the first scene that you see her in.
Yeah.
I was that was even though it was my first cover, it was the one that I was most nervous to go on for
Mhm.
because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. I'm 25. How are they going to believe me as a 40-year-old um woman who with two children and then yeah, so I was super nervous, but had amazing directors and the whole cast were just a dream to work with because they were all incredible actors. So acting with them was so easy because
Yeah.
they just gave you
Everything.
the gift and they gave yeah, it was just so easy to act with them. Um, so covering was nerve-wracking, but I really enjoyed when I was able to go on for my covers on tour. And then being the first ever ensemble in a musical that had no ensemble before was also really exciting
Yeah.
because again, we were the first ever people to do that. We got to make those characters. They tried the costumes on us. There was no costumes before, like on anyone else. So it was kind of like what suited us and what looked best on us. And I mean, I chose my own name. It was really silly. I chose Annie May because
Yes.
of end of May or early June. So it was Annie May. And
I love you.
um, so it was a good fun. Like as an ensemble, we really bonded. We were a big,
Yeah.
big family because
Best people.
going
Oh
through this journey together that no one else had gone through yet. And obviously, we had to be super, super aware and on our
yeah.
game because we didn't have any swings. We didn't have any offstage swings or on stage swings. We ended up becoming basically on stage
Yeah.
swings um, because our alternate Evan, Sunny, was in the
King.
ensemble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
My
every
king.
matinee that he went on for Evan, us as an ensemble did a cut show. Every
Yeah.
matinee was a cut show for us, so we had to swing and do a different show to the normal show. And then again, if anyone went off, it would be another cut show. I
Yeah.
don't know. I know that Lara, who was our dance captain, I think has the number of how many different versions of the show we
Oh my
ended up
God.
doing, but it
Yeah.
was a lot.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, you know
So
my
many
yeah.
versions.
Yeah. I mean, you know my connection to the show and like how I found my love for theater through this show. And like through the show, I've had the pleasure of getting to meet and work with the Broadway company, the national tour company, the second national tour company, the UK tour. And it's just, and I remember Ian Corsi, who was in the first national tour, he was understudy Connor Jared. He told me when he was on the podcast, actually, that there was originally an ensemble and then it got cut. And then when Sunny and Tom and Killian told me that you guys were bringing the ensemble back, like it was crazy. Like this was like it was major for me. And then we of course had to talk about you because I mean like I say I know the show like the back of my hand and like all the lovely people that this show has brought into my life and all the incredible people I've got to see do this show who became like family to me. You're super special in the sense because you're you. But also, you are, I think, the only person that I know that has done the show that has covered the mums and also one of the kids, which is crazy. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it does feel like I remember when I got it through, when I got the roles that I would be covering through, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, sure. Let's see how this goes. Um, so yeah, I mean, I have to give the hats off to Mr. Will,
Yes. Shout out Will.
who was part of the
Larry, I
ensemble,
know.
um, who
Covers his
covered
own
for
dad.
him, covered the dad and all three boys, all
Love
three
it.
young boys, Evan,
Oh,
Jared, Connor, and Mr. Lowry.
I love it.
Um, so
Oh,
hats off to him because that is
yeah.
mental. Like he literally,
Yeah.
I think, apart from the female characters, knew the entire show
It's crazy.
book-wise.
It's
And
crazy.
he also became assistant dance captain, I think,
Wow.
a quarter of the way through the tour because it was evident that
Oh,
it was needed after bless Lara, who is our dance captain,
yeah.
had to they had a scheduled show for Heidi because that was their first cover
Yeah.
in Birmingham. And it just so happened that we had three people off on that show. So they were stressing about making their debut as Heidi, whilst also having to cut the show, figure out what the ensemble was doing at the same time as worrying about going on for Heidi for the first time. So I think the company was like, I think
Yeah.
we might need a second person. So that
Yeah.
if Lara ever has to go on again for a track, someone
Yeah.
else can worry about the cutting of all of the
Oh,
things. So yeah, that's when Will got given assistant dance captain. So he was a big star. He was a
wow.
big star on our show and just a beautiful person as well. So
Yeah. And of course, we have to ask what your experience was like being in the ensemble while also understudying all these roles. Because since you had the mothers and then you had Alana being a high school student, how did playing these roles kind of like enrich your understanding of the story from different perspectives? And what was that like for you as a performer, getting to kind of step into all these different characters?
um it was really fun. I keep saying it's really fun. Um I think each character brought its own challenges and also things that I enjoyed.
Mhm.
Alana, I think, was the most fun to play because she is just a whirlwind of a person. She does not stop talking. That is the hardest
Yeah.
part of Alana, is that
Yeah.
she does not stop talking. So words wise, it was really difficult for
Words don't
Alana.
fail with that girl.
Just words, words, words. So going on for Alana, that was definitely the challenge. And
Yep.
also like making her relatable to an audience instead
Mm-hmm.
of the villain. I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people
Yep.
from in when they watched the original production didn't like Alana because they
Yeah.
maybe found her to be one of the villains of the show.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to show that she isn't. She's just as misunderstood. She has as much social anxiety as Evan does. It's just
Mm-hmm.
portrayed in a completely different way, as it is in girls.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing is completely different in
Mm-hmm.
girls than it is to boys. And I think people forget that. So I think it was important for me with Alana to show that she is as much of like she isn't a victim,
Yeah.
but like she's affected by it as much as everyone. Like, yeah, she's got her flaws, as every single character in the show does. I don't think there's one character that isn't flawed in the show, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's beautiful about the show because it fe makes it
Definitely.
real. Every single person in this planet has flaws, and I think it's important that the characters that we see on stage reflect that because you can relate. And I think that is the thing when playing all of the characters in the show. I think it was important for all of us to relate, to make sure that we were being relatable for whoever was coming, whether it was the parents of the kids that were coming to see it or the kids themselves. It is that show that people are coming to see it because they connect with the story and they connect with the characters that are on the stage. So we wanted to make sure that our portrayal of it was true and that they could understand what we were going through. Um, yeah,
Mm.
I think it was really lovely to be able to play all three and be able to find the things that made each character tick
Yeah.
and understand why each character did what they did because yeah, like I think another thing that our director really, really wanted to push was that even though Evan did a lot of bad things in terms of lying to this poor family and the ended up the world or whoever interacted with the
Mm.
project was that he was kind of forced into it. Not
Yeah.
forced, but just he said no many times.
Mm.
He said that that was not Connor. He didn't write this. And Cynthia refuses to believe it,
Mm.
keeps making excuses, keeps being like, no, but you're cast. No, but it literally says it here. I don't understand. And then latches onto it. And every single person, Alana not forces, but is super, super excited about it and obviously wants friends. So is trying to do anything to build a connection and kind of be relevant in the school. So decides to hop on the bandwagon and because she is such a fast-paced talker, doesn't really give Evan much room to disagree or
Yeah.
like stop whatever's happening. So I think that was another thing that we wanted. And also Heidi, as much of a great mother as what she wants to be to Evan, she isn't the best mother. She isn't. Um, and I think that's why the song So Big, So Small lands so well, is
Yeah.
because she accepts it at the end. She's like, yeah, I've made so many mistakes and I'll make many more, but I am here for you. I am your mother and I love you. And I'm always going to be here for you. No matter how many mistakes you make, how many mistakes I make, I'm always going to be here for you. And I think finding all of those things and kind of accepting them because you have to. If you're playing the character, you have to come to terms with them.
Yeah.
so that the audience can also come to terms with them and feel a little bit of an understanding from the audience.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you recently completed your run in Be More Chill, portraying the role
Yes.
of Jenna. So what was your favorite part about your time in Be More Chill, and what were some of your greatest takeaways from your time with the show?
I mean, talk about fun show.
Oh yeah.
Be More
Oh
Chill
yeah.
is one of the craziest shows. Again, I tend to do this. I didn't really know Be More Chill before I did it.
I will
I'd
admit
never seen
I
it.
jumped on the Be More Chill bandwagon late. I will admit to that
Yeah,
too.
I knew that it was another high school show, like Dear Evan Hansen, and it was similar to Dear Evan Hansen with the themes of the main character not doing so well socially at school and wanting to fit in a bit more. So I knew that it was
Yep.
similar vibes to Dear Evan Hansen. So I was like, hell yeah, I can
And
do that.
Tom playing Will
I've
Roland
just done
again.
that. Yeah, literally. So I was like, I can do that. I've done that before.
Oh.
Um, um, and then I was in when I auditioned, they saw me for both Jenna and Christine.
Mm.
And then I got Jenna. And I think that was also perfect. I don't think I loved my cast.
Yeah.
Be more chill. I think everyone who was cast perfectly. We all fit our characters so, so well. And I am a big nerd.
Same.
And so I loved to embrace the nerdiness of the musical. The video game sounds
Oh, so good.
in two-player game and just yeah, the nerdiness and silliness of this musical was so much fun to do. And it was just chaos. It was absolute chaos from start to finish
Yeah.
of the rehearsal process. It was absolute chaos. We had 9 days to rehearse for this show, as I think we spoke with you about.
Yeah. At intermission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was, yeah, so it was a whirlwind of a contract.
yeah.
And I think that worked well with the musical that it was. That it was that
Yes,
whirlwindy and kind of
definitely.
chaotic. It was like if there was any musical where it needed to be chaotic or it worked being chaotic, it was Be More Chill.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I really loved about Jenna, which I didn't actually know I would be able to do until I got the role, was I was listening to Pitiful Children and I was looking at the sheet music and I was like, oh my God, she goes all opera. She gets to have a full opera bit in the middle of Pitiful
Hmm.
Children. And that
Hmm.
made me so happy because I've not done any legit since I left
Oh,
drama school. And it was the thing that I thought I was going to do for my whole career. And I love singing legit. It was, as
yeah.
I discussed before, I started doing classical singing. Um, and I love singing. I love singing legit. It's where my voice really happily sits. And I remember reaching out to my MD before we started rehearsals, and I was like, so it says here, I can't remember what note it was, but it went up in step, and then it just stayed on the note for a long time. And I was like, I think it needs to go up one more. I think it
Preach.
should go up. I don't think it sounds good when it just stays on that note. It doesn't sound as impressive. And he was like, hey, if you can do it, absolutely go for it.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I changed it in my sheet music and yeah, brought it to the table. And that was something that I really liked, that I was able to kind of put my own thing on it. I'm very much because I read music and I'm not really a pop singer
Mhm.
I don't really have the ability that so many of my friends do of being able to like hear something and then just like riff over it and do all of that kind of stuff. So I was really happy that I was able to like hear it and then be able to put my own kind of riff thing on it. And even in Smartphone Hour where she kind of riffs over everyone,
Mhm.
I made that like I like worked on that before we got to rehearsals and came up with my own like version of it because I'm not a riffer, but I can belt high. So I was like, I'm gonna try and work out my own thing that sounds impressive that isn't the same as the soundtrack or anything like that. So I really, really enjoyed that and be able to, because it's like my first big role that I've played like a named part. It was nice to be able to fully put my stamp on a character and make it my own. Because I'd never seen a production of Be More Chill. I didn't have a reference of another
Yeah.
performance of it or version of it. I was just like, this is how I see Jenna from just reading the script. And that was really nice. I loved that, being able to do that. And then obviously I got to do it again a couple months later in London at the 5 year reunion, which was bonkers. I can't believe I did that. It just
Oh,
everything fell so perfectly into place that that was able to happen for me.
yeah. And I will never forget being on live with you and Tom and just the video game intermission music. That needs an honorary mention because that is the most iconic thing I have ever heard in a theater. Just the video game intermission music. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
yeah, man, we heard that a lot.
Oh yeah, I know. I had friends too in Back to the Future and like the pre-show sounds and they're all like, "Yeah, you get sick of them, but they're
Yeah.
iconic and the audience loves them." Oh,
No, it's great. It is really, really great. And I was really happy with our production. Liam, who did all of our video design, it's like such a musical where I think video design is key because it's
yeah.
such a technological musical. It like literally is basically talking about AI. And bringing that up, and that was before AI even really was a thing when it got
Yeah.
written, and now it's so prevalent. And
Yeah.
so we had like 12 TV screens that all had different things on it, and it had kind of our profile, like it had our pictures on, and kind of it said like
So
Jenna
cute.
Rowland and like our stats. So it was so like nerdy and like video game like, and one of my favorite jokes was just before Rich set a fire. There was it we had each before each scene it came up on the screen as like scene or like no it said level whatever it was. So like level 9 or something.
I
So
love
like
that.
before each scene it was like the next level
Oh, wow.
to like signify that it was a new scene. And before Rich set a fire, it was like level whatever, and then it would have like a title of what the level was called. And I'm a big D&D fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big D&D nerd, and the title was I didn't ask how big the room was. I said cast fireball, which is like a big D&D
Oh,
meme.
I
And
love that.
I remember the first time I saw it, it made me laugh a lot. And then I would
Oh,
always listen out for it. I would always listen out for the audience. And if I heard a few chuckles, I was like, there's
you
some
knew
D&D
those are
fans
your
in the
people.
audience. Yeah.
Oh. And I mean, speaking of video games, I mean, I think you did one of the most iconic things known to man in musical theater. You played Princess Peach in the Super Mario musical.
Yeah.
So we have to geek out
Yeah.
about that for a hot second because I love Mario and Princess Peach is an icon, and getting to do
Yeah.
that in the theater and bring that to the stage, that iconic character, what was that like for you?
Oh my God. I would say as much as like I say Shrek is one of the most fun that I've done on a job, I think Mario maybe takes the cake a little bit
Yeah.
because it was my first job out of drama school. It was the
Wow.
first thing I ever did. And I was with my best friend. One of my best friends from drama school booked it with me. So I was able to like have her, Billy Kerr, who you should get on the podcast. She was
Yes.
Seymour on the ships of six, and then she's just an Aragon on the UK tour, the
Yes.
international tour. And yeah,
Wow.
so she's a superstar. But she was my Luigi and Princess Rosalina.
Yes.
And it was just the silliest musical I have ever done. And that's,
Oh,
we've just talked about Be More Chill. So,
yeah. Yeah.
that's saying something. It was so much fun, and the music was amazing. I genuinely hope, I know it's been a long time
They need
since
to
I
bring
did
it
it.
back. I'm
I
petitioning
hope
it.
it comes back.
Bring it
I'm
back.
petitioning it too. And if they don't ask me back, I'll be really sad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because it
I'll
was
be
so
sad too.
good. I think more people needed to see it. It was a great musical. Jim Burrows wrote it.
Wow.
Um, who was in the year above me at drama school.
Wow.
Um, and it felt really special because it was just after COVID. It was like as COVID was not a thing well, it was a thing still,
No, I feel
but
that. Not a thing
the
anymore.
it
Yeah.
was very much a thing still.
Oh,
Um, and the theaters were just opening, is what
yeah.
I meant, is like
Yeah.
the theaters were able to open and have people obviously like social distance,
Yeah.
like seating and everything, but
Yeah.
it felt like, oh, okay, I can actually do what I love again. Um,
Yeah.
and it felt really scary graduating into an industry that had been dormant for so long.
Mhm.
Um, but everyone was so amazing graduating, like for the people who were graduating because they put on so many like concerts. They were like, it was called Grad Fest, I think. The ones that I was doing, it was called Grad Fest, and it was like new grads able to go and perform like songs in the concert. And it was like the first time that we were performing for an audience in years and so long. So it felt super
Wow.
special. And it was Grad Fest who Mario had decided to ask to put out auditions. So everything that I did, that all my audition for Mario was all via self-tape. So I sent it off because I did GradFest and I knew GradFest and I saw it come up on their Instagram and I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. And I really identify with Princess Peach.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, and so I sent off my singing reel to them, which was Woman. I think Woman was my first song on that singing reel, from Pirate Queen. And I thought, oh, from the brief of Princess Peach, it was very much like strong,
Yeah.
independent princess who doesn't want to be a damsel in distress anymore just because she's the princess. And I was like, oh my God, Woman is the perfect song. So I sent that off and I got a call and they were like, hey, we loved your self-tape and we would love you to be our Princess Peach. Like that was it. Just from that one self-tape that I sent
Wow.
off, I got the job and I was like, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
I'd love to do it.
Oh,
And yeah, and we managed, we were really lucky. It was originally supposed to be two shows. And then it got picked up by a different theatre who'd come to see it, and then we did another week. Um, which was super, super lucky because we then got to have the show in our lives a little bit longer. But it was such a small cast. It was me, Billy, and then I think four other people. So it
wow.
was a really, really small cast, and um, the the director and choreographer were also young, and the choreographer has now also been in Six because she was a performer as well. So it was just a really lovely group of people who just wanted to make theatre after so long of not making theatre, and obviously people who loved Mario and video
Of
games and
course.
able to like put put their like acting chops into video game characters and be stupid because it is stupid. It's Mario. And it was just, yeah, it was one of my favorite experiences to date because it was just so beautiful. Everyone was really happy to be there.
Yeah.
And and yeah, we were able to just make great theatre. And again, it was creating a new show. Yeah, there's obviously everyone knows Princess Peach, but it was
Yeah.
a different version of Princess Peach that everyone knew. I didn't put a wig on. I wasn't wearing a pretty dress. I was just playing a princess who had been constantly called a damsel in distress because that was how the game that she was in worked. And in this version, you see her after just being rescued again by Mario, and she's like, I just want to stop this cycle. I don't want to keep getting captured by Bowser and saved by Mario, and then it ends up that Mario goes missing, and she's
Yeah.
like, great, I'm gonna rescue Mario. I don't need anyone else to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it because I can be the hero in this story instead of the damsel. And it was just, yeah, it was really nice to play like a really strong version of Princess Peach. And like Luigi was like the like we got Luigi along for the ride, and it's like you don't have to be the second player in this. Like you can also be a hero. Like I know that you're always like in the shadow of your brother, but like you can step up and be brave as well. And yeah, it was just a really like even though it was Mario had really had a lot of heart to it as a
Mhm.
story, and also the songs were brilliant. I wish more people could have heard
Yeah. Oh, what a show. And
it.
looking back on everything you have achieved in this industry, what advice would you give your younger self entering the industry?
Um, gosh, entering the industry. Just have fun, I guess. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You don't always have to be right because sometimes just going for it and making mistakes is the most exciting thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And it's where the most exciting choices come from. And just kind of like going for it is, yeah. And I think I was always a very it has to be right kind of person when I, especially at the beginning of my drama school, um, in first year especially, I was very much a people pleaser, and I was like, I have to get good grades and I have to be right. I have, and like not have to be right, but as in like I have to get good grades, so like I have to do everything right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that isn't what acting's about. It's about trying anything. And if it's not right, that's fine, but at least you've tried it and made a choice. So like make choices, and if you make choices, you're just going to have fun anyway. So that comes hand in hand.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best. Jessica, thank you so, so much for joining me on the Inspiration Show. I'm in constant awe of you and your incredible talent. And I am so beyond grateful for the opportunity to get to look up to you and watch you shine. It was truly such an honor to have you here. It was so, so special. Thank you for inspiring me.
No, thank you so much for having me, and I hope that everything that you have going on in the future works out for you, and that
Oh,
you've got people who will look up to you as well.
you're the best.